Hi there, welcome back to Bernina Club. Now I checked my video that I did for this wonderful zip up bag and I realised I had done a black zip and I was wearing black, and so when I was showing you it wasn't very clear. So I'm going to show you how to put the zip in again on one of these bags, and I'm going to use a white zip and I'm going to use pink thread. So I'm hoping this will be clearer for you. So remember, we're using a maker zipper. So I'm just going to open my zipper out and I'm going to put right side to right side on my fabric, and this is the one that I'm going to make into a baby changing mat. And so I've got a lightweight wadding underneath, and I'm simply just going to clip this through the wadding in the fabric and sew down close to my little opening that I had done. Remember, we cut and we clip to the corner. So we're just going to put a couple of clips in there. I've got my zip foot number 4 on, I've got my needle position to the left, and I'm going to put hot pink thread on so you can see. So needle position to the left, 2.5 length, find my foot, and I'll put the needle stop down on, so when I stop to take out my clips the needle will be down. So I can just run it along, can extend it out a little bit, and once you get started you can hold the thread front and back and just go down quite quickly. Now this is the one I've done some cute little variegated thread to sew my tape on, which looks really nice, and so I'm going to stitch down one side, come down to my opening and go close to the opening there, put my finger as my stop point, reverse, and put my needle up, and then take my work out and clip it. And my snips are somewhere, but that's all right. Now I'm going to do this side, and so I'll just put a clip there to hold it, and the other side of the zip, and make sure you do right side down, move this zip out of the road. So you can see my little clip there, I'm going as close to that there, move that zip out of the road and start down here. So this time I'm doing exactly the same and sewing up the other side. So this should be a lot clearer for you to see this time. So I do apologise, I didn't realise black with black and black did not work, and it wasn't until I re-watched the video that I saw it was too dark. And there we go. So remember, we've got our both sides of the zips on. We're going to have right side to right, so we're going to turn it over so you can see it this time. And here's my zip here. So this is the wrong side of the zip, so I'm going to trim this one just back a bit further, and I'm going to find my zip end, and my zip end is going to be upside down facing like that. So the round end of the zip is facing the right side up when I flip it over like that. So I'm going to put this side on first. And you hold your mouth right and just wiggle it on, and then make sure that you've got this up the same way. So as this is coming down, oops, too far now. As this is coming down about there, a little bit further, I'm going to just put that into there, and then I turned it over very gently, and this is the part that was very hard to see because of my black top, and then I just gave it a little wiggle, and there it is there. So now what I do is I just clip there and there and there. Now this is the part that was really hard to see because I want this to turn through to the right side. So what you need to do is you need to push that little part of your zip through that opening like that. Okay, so this is where we are here, and I need to push that through that opening so I can turn my zip all the way around, and now I'm going to pull it up. So my zip will eventually be pulling up this way, so you just have to give it a little bit of a wriggle and pull it up. Do not pull it off, and now you can see it's on the right side. So now you pull this all the way down, and you do the same to all the other ones and finish it exactly the same way as I showed you the other one. So this one is going to have an insert of turquoise and have a fun backing, which you will see eventually. So when I finish this one, I will show you. And then just the difference with having the variegated coloured thread looks really pretty. So I hope that was a lot clearer showing you that zip. Now I'm just going to quickly show you my part of my method for doing these toilet bags. So this is a wonderful pattern from Tilda Designs, and it's called Windy Days. And there's 3 sizes in the toilet bag. This is the large, this is the medium, and this is the small. Now I've decided on the large one, next time I make it, I'm going to put handles on it because it's quite a good sized toilet bag. And this has been made out of a Laura Ashley chintz fabric, and I have put low loft wadding in it, and I have quilted it through to Parka nylon. These ones here I've made out of laminated fabric, and I was trying out the sizes of the toilet bags, so I just came downstairs into my studio and I just used up scraps of fabric. So I've actually joined my fabrics because I was trialing out the size, and I've even joined the Parka nylon, but I haven't quilted this one because I don't want to quilt through my laminated fabric. But you can see clearly I've used all of my scraps, and I have joined everything together and just tried out the pattern. But it's so simple. So I just want to show you how I do my lining method without quilting through my fabric, because I think it gives a much nicer finish and I like it, but you can do it the way the pattern shows you if you like. So working with laminated fabrics is not hard. You can see here I've got a heavy duty zip in this one, but normally I just use the maker zippers. And I found these cute little tassel zip ends which are really, really nice, and I will put a zip end on the other one because it's easier to get hold of that and open it up. So they're a very good size, and there's going to be quite a few people getting this size for Christmas. Now the product I've used in here is soft and stable. So this one's soft and stable, and this little one's soft and stable. And I've done exactly the same to this one. I have just used the Parka nylon inside, and it's a really cute little one for medication to pop in your bag. So it's really, really nice. You can see clearly that I have got my pattern going up the correct way this way and going up the correct way in this way. So you need to join your fabric. And what I love about this actual pattern from Tilda Fabrics is it tells you how to cut that, so you don't have to think about which way your fabric's going to be up. So what you actually do, and your pattern will tell you clearly how to cut this. This is my size medium, and I just want to show you what I do. So I've pieced together all my soft and stable to use it up. I haven't got a new piece. I just used up my scraps because that's literally all I did. And I've done a running zigzag and butted it together to use it up. Now, if you're going to be using this beautiful fabric, I would suggest that you stitch around all the edges. So I've stitched around all the edges to hold my 2 layers together, because it really does make it easier to sew the bag together. Now this is just the way I'm going to show you how I do the zip. So I've got another maker zipper, and I'm going to take the end off, and this time I am going to, I'll just leave pink thread on so you can see it, because it's better for you to be able to see it. So I'm going to put my maker zipper right side to right side, and it's extended out both ways. You can use a normal zipper if you want. Just make sure it's longer than what you need. And I've got my needle position on the left again. And I'm just going to sew down both sides. So it's very, very, very easy. But this time, I'm going to put my lining in at next. So I just sew this in to hold it. I don't do the lining at the same time because I think it's much better if you do it in 2 stages. So I'm going to do the lining next, but I'm just going to quickly whip these zips in for you and make sure they extend out. And it really doesn't matter if it's hot pink thread because you can see it better. So the laminated fabric is designed by a New Zealand company, and they are really, really wonderful to use. I use them as my lunch bag every day. They are great for toilet bags. They're wonderful for beach bags. I just love the laminated fabric, the Kiwiana laminated fabric. Right, so now that I've done that, I'm just going to lay my fabric on top. So this is my Parka nylon, and I'm just going to line it up, and I'm going to stitch that again. And this is when your quilt clips come into handy because they are so good and much better than having to pin, and they're very, very quick. So I'm going to do my seam exactly the same. This time I will make sure that I am pushing my zip up against my foot, whoops, so I get nice and close. So there's my first one done. And then I'm going to do exactly the same to this one. So clip it. So it's wonderful when you find a really, really good free pattern on the internet that you're able to share. The only thing that is said on her site is that you do not make these for sale. So you can use them to make for gifts, but you're not allowed to make these up to sell them to the public, which is fair enough because it's her own design. So it's wonderful that I can share it, and it's wonderful that you can make them for gifts. So as soon as I've done this, I'm then going to top stitch it so that I don't catch my Parka nylon in my zip when I'm using my toilet bag. And this is why it doesn't matter what colour's on there at this stage. So I'm going to turn this now. I've done 1, 2 ends, and I'm going to turn this through to the right side, like that. I'm then going to roll that and clip it. And roll it and clip it. And roll it and clip it, and I'm going to top stitch down both sides. This time I will put on black. Now you'll notice that I've got my sewing thread sitting on my upright spool cap. The reason why this is on the upright spool cap is because this thread is wound all the way around here, whereas this thread is cross wound and it lies down. So whenever you've got a spool like this that is nice and evenly round, you do need to do that to it. And I'm just wondering where I put my scissors. There they are. So I'm going to cut my thread, pull it from my needle right down, leave my zip foot on, the same foot, put black in my bobbin, black in my top, and this time I'll take this off, and this sponge must go onto here. My thread is going to go onto there, my cap's onto there, that can go down. And I'm now ready to sew, and my thread's going the correct way. So leave your zip foot on and lengthen your stitch length out. So I'm going to go to about 3.5, oh, 3 point, yeah, I'll go 3.5. And make sure your foot is up when you're threading your machine so you don't have any problems with your tension, because it's all nice and loose, pulls through. You don't need to bring your bobbin thread up. And now what I'm going to do, and I could have put turquoise thread underneath, but I'm not going to. Now what I'm going to do is start on here. My foot is running along the edge of my previously stitched zip, and I'm stitching to the left, and I'm just holding it to start. Needle down is a must. Make sure it's flat. Now I can hold it from the back. And you'll make loads of these. They are so quick and easy to make. You'll really enjoy making them. I think definitely they will be given for Christmas presents. As long as I don't try and give them before Christmas, because I'm a bit bad like that. I'll try and not do that. And again, here we are here. Roll it so you can't see your lining, and roll it flat, and this will keep it from catching in your zip ever when you're zipping it up. Okay. And no, I would not normally use pink thread, but it's just to show you. So this time, top stitching this on the left. So the zip foot's wonderful for this, and you know what? It's a pretty good fabric to be able to use this without having to use my Teflon foot. However, if I'm doing a lot of top stitching, I do use my Teflon foot. But I can hold it because I'm helping it through. Now I need to put on my zip end. So make sure you cut all of your little threads. This particular machine is the 435 and it doesn't have a scissor cutter on it, so I do need to use my scissors to cut my thread, but it does have a holder here that I can cut my thread. So now I've got my zipper end, and this time I put my, I'll cut all my threads. Just stops the threads from getting caught. So this time there's my zipper ends, and they're kind of the same size, so I'll cut one shorter because it does make it easier. And this time it's facing up the right way, so the round piece is facing towards me. So I'm going to put my zipper end on one side, and this time I think I'll lie it down on the table to show you. So I need to have this lined up, so this is going to come down a little bit, and now I can sneak this side in. So just start it in there, lay it down once you've got it started, and then you literally hold it and just kind of give it a little wiggle, and it just works. I don't know why, but these ones are really nice and easy, and I'm showing you how easy they are because it's not working. Hold it flat. Maybe I haven't quite got that one in yet. There we go. Cool. So now just pull it like that, and my suggestion to you is put a clip or a, no I don't have one, or a safety pin on there, because turn this through to the wrong side now, so you've got right sides together. Oh, actually I will show you this because I have just done one of them and I quite liked this method. So what I've done is I put one of them with the wrong size together. This came up actually really nice. And I just stitched along here. So I'll show you this one first because this is quite nice. Because I've just decided to switch it up and I like this. So this first one I'm going to sew on the outside, and the others I sew on the inside. And I'll show you what I mean. Everything on this one has been done on the inside. So this is the seam I'm doing across my zip at the moment, and I did it all on the inside, but it looks quite nice if you do this one on the outside. So I'm just going to show you that because I've decided I quite like it. So when you start making something and you're making a few of them, you do change your mind how you like them. So this gets cut off now. And I do the same to this end. So just make sure you've got everything lined up. And your clips are an absolute must for this. It's so good. Line that up. And stitch across the end. And this is wrong size together, not right size together, but you can certainly do the right size together, but I really like this method. So I'm going to do wrong size together just for this end. So when you're sewing this across, you can just go straight across with fabric. However, as you can see from here, when you put a little tab in, you've got something to hold onto to undo the zip. So the little tabs are actually quite cute, and they are made from 3 inches of fabric, by, I think, 3.5 by 2.5. So 3.5 long by 2.5, and all I did was I put my fabric to the center, and I folded it over like that. So I'll show you again. The fabric to the center, and then fold it over. And I clip it, and I sew down. This time I'll move my needle. I leave the same foot on, put my needle position to the right, and I start in. I don't try and start from the edge, and I sew backwards. Couple of stitches, then I've got my thread to hold on to. I go forwards, I go all the way down to the bottom, and in the instructions they only do one side, but I like doing both sides. And I go across, then I don't have to try and hold my, whoops, one stitch too far, just go back. Then I don't have to try and hold my thread again. Go down there, and there must be another little one somewhere. Or not. I'll just cut one, 3 inches. So center, over. Leave this one attached, and then you can simply sew down this one. I think this one has ended up a little bit skinnier, but no one's going to look on the other end of my bag. I can tell you that for a fact. So I think I'll actually keep one of these for myself because I think they're really nice. Now what this one does is all you do now is you trim that off. You just fold it in half. So just fold it in half and you pop it on here. So you can just line it up in the center of your zip. Oh, my foot fell off. And stitch it down to hold it. That's all it needs. It doesn't need much, just a little bit, because you're going to be stitching it across to do the binding. Trim off all your mess, and then do the same to the other end. So just there, fold it in half and stitch it onto that edge. And it's just to hold it together while you're doing your next step. Now, I do change my foot at this stage. So when I'm doing the next step, I do just put on my normal foot, or if you've got a Teflon foot, whatever you've got. And I'm going to sew this one on the right side. The reason being, I'm going to top stitch and fold it down. Or if you want to, you can go on this side. Whatever works for you. So I'm going to put on another foot, and I'll just put a normal foot on, because I'm going to do a 1 centimetre seam. So I'm going to clear my work, and I'm going to follow my 1 centimetre marking on my machine, and I'm just going to run down here, and I don't need to turn anything under. You can cut it to the right length or trim it afterwards. But this is super easy. Clip that, cut across here, and this is how easy it is to finish each and every corner. All you do is fold it down towards your seam like that, and then fold it over to cover all your stitches, and put a clip in to hold it and a clip in to hold it. And this time you can use this foot, or you could use, which I do, is the number 10 foot. So into here we go, and number 10. So the number 10 foot's got that wonderful, wonderful guide on it. And so I put it on my machine. I move my needle position a couple of clicks to the right, 2 or 3, depending on how close I'd like it. Let me have a look. You can decide when you sit it down. I'm going to go 3 to the right, and I'm going to lengthen it out to 3 length because I'm top stitching. And the guide that is here is running along my fold, and that's how I get my beautiful straight edge. So they're very quick to finish. And you do the same to the other end. Now what you do, because I've done this on the outside, I'm now going to turn this, make sure you open the zip out. I'm going to turn it. So there's my zipper, and there's my binding, and there's my tag. Now this, I want to fold it down away. So I'm going to fold it down. Make sure you get your lining away from my zipper like that. Okay, so I'm going to turn this through to the wrong side, and I can finish it off. And this gives a really, really nice finish. I'm actually thinking I'm going to do this for all the rest of the ones I've got to finish. So pop this all through. Make sure this is folded away from you. And now all you do is you get all your edges together. Pop them all up. Hold them. Put a clip on them. But this is a little secret I want to tell you. And I'm hoping that in here, this is a secret that I've worked out when you're making boxed out bags. If you measure from here to here, that's my measurement, and it's 3 3/8. And if I put a pin on my, I'll just make sure I've got it in the right place. Actually, that's 3 1/4. 3 1/4 is my marking. Now the reason why I'm doing that, you can draw this, but the reason why I'm doing this is because when I go to pin this one, make sure everything's lined up. When I go to clip and pin this one, if this isn't on the same angle and the same distance, so this is not exactly the same here, then when this is sitting flat, it will be wonky. So this distance from here to here and this distance from here to here needs to be exactly the same. So I decided if I show people to measure that and make sure that that is exactly the same across there, they won't get into trouble. So you could mark it with a pin, or you could, I usually mark it with a pen to tell you the truth, but it's a bit easier to show you with a pin. So you can do one of two things. If you want to, you can sew this first before you put your binding on, but what I do is I just get a piece of binding, and your binding needs to be just that little bit longer, like that, so that when I show you now, you're going to fold back your edges. So let's get that out of the road, get everything out of the road so you can see. So I'm going to fold this in just a little bit, and I'm going to put it on right by my pin, like this. So I'm going to stop sewing in exactly that point, okay, because I've marked it. Don't pin your finger. And then when this comes along here, I'm going to fold it back and I'm going to start in exactly that point. So then I know that that's going to be even. I'm going to do the same to all 4 ends. Now I take my edge stitch foot off and I just put my normal foot on and I sew straight across with all layers. And it really, honestly, it doesn't matter which side you start it from, it's all going to end up really, really good. So now I'm going to start right on that and I'm clearing it so it's center needle position and it's starting at exactly the right point and I'm following my guide on my machine so I get my width right. I come across here. Oh, what did I do? Did I just do a little jam up? I did, didn't I? Don't know what I did then. Don't think I had my thread out to the side. Let's just try that again. Just make sure it hasn't done anything weird. No, we're all good. That sounds better. So follow your line on your machine. So I'm just following the line here. So I get it nice and straight. Take these out as you go. Come all the way down and I'm stopping right at that edge where that pin is. Lift it up if you've got a little foot on there. If I flatten this you can see it. Now, if you have anything like that happen, just make sure you now clip all your threads. And remember, this is the part. So now can you see I've got a fold line? Doesn't matter if it's not exactly the same. So now I fold it once towards my seam here so that they kind of match. And then when you go over, but I'm just going to trim that. Can you see that's in the row? Just going to trim that off. So show you again, there and all the way over. And now I'll put my edge stitch foot on. And make sure that you put a couple of clips in to hold it and another clip into here to hold it. Cut your little threads and your edge stitch foot on. And you do the same to all 4 corners and you have got a cool toilet bag. So get started for Christmas because guess what? It's on its way. It's on its way. So we're going to be well organized this year. So remember, 1, 2, 3 stitches to the right on this particular machine. Lengthen it out to 3 length or longer, whatever you'd like. And then needle down and run the bar of your foot along the fold of your fabric. And I've left the knee control at work and it's really frustrating because I'm having to put that down. And nice and slow over your thick seams. And I'm just holding it at the back to give me some tension. Now what I do want to show you is what it looks like when you turn it through. So now I have this all sewn on. So the inside of my bag is going to look like this, but the outside looks actually quite fun. So I'll just quickly whip down this without putting the binding on so I can just show you what it's going to look like on the outside. I really, really like it. So I'll just sew this down for you and then I can show you. This will just hold it till I'm ready to sew it. And I know my measurements, so I know where I want to go. But I think you're really, really going to enjoy these. So now, when I turn that through, this is what it will look like instead of having the binding all the way on the outside. I think it's quite fun, actually. I tried the binding on the outside and I didn't like it on the whole of the bag, but I really liked this finish. I clip my thread. So this toilet bag is going to, oh, another thread, threads everywhere. when you're rushing, it's not good because you do it untidy. So now this is the look you get on the outside. So instead of it looking like, like this, I kind of like it as the feature. So instead of looking like that on the outside, you now get that nice little binding on the outside. So I think I like it, I really do. So I think that's the way I'm going to go from now onwards. But I mean, this was all made of scraps anyway, this one. But this is a really, really nice Kiwiana fabric as well, called Parka. And we do have it in cotton fabric as well, but I'm loving the laminated fabric. And of course, the soft and stable makes these bags stand up really, really, really nicely. So the pattern's free. The method is easy, but normally you quilt all your fabric and sew your zip in. But I just wanted to show you how I like to finish them by doing the lining separately. So I hope you'll make some of these. They're absolutely fun. If you want to, you can come and make them in with the class with me. I'm more than happy for you to do that. And we can, yeah, just make them and you can do all your Christmas presents in a class. So that would be fun as well. So the pattern's called Windy Days. It's from Tilda Fabrics, but I have sent it to you in your notes. So you will have it to do step by step. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next month.